Greetings and salutations to all you folks out there. We're going to be looking at a cast today. It is a 1 versus 1 on the map X6 between Bemble as Cybern in the top left corner and hero protagonist is Aeon in the bottom right. And surprise, surprise, I have a very special guest. Evan is here with us. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Brink. I'm looking forward to do this co-cast together.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about this map.
Yes, of course. This map is called Times 6, and it's a 20 times 20 map. It's been in the ladder pool a while ago, and the actual playable area is around 12 times 12 kilometers size, because the very outside is not particularly interesting. This map is fairly low reclaim, apart from a few rocks. So if you press Control Shift, you're going to see them. These 100 Maz rocks. And of course, there are some civilians in the center, but these have T2 defenses, and they also have their own radar, which makes it quite difficult to kill them when you also have to interact with your opponent. So in high-level games, people typically try to get the middle reclaim, but in average Joe games, sometimes it's not a priority.
Well, especially since you can't get to it at the very early portion of the game, it does have a combination of anti-air and triads. So it's going to be difficult to get to that before T2, and then by that time you have other concerns. An interesting note, this map does have some water, some of which is deep enough to hide a commander in, but you kind of have to be careful where you position those comms, and the entire thing is laid out where you cannot build a naval factory. So it introduces this little bit of gameplay where hover units and amphibious units are very useful. And of course, because of the map size, you're going to need air transports to get your engineers around. But there is no navy. So obviously Aeon is going to hold a bit of an advantage here at the start of the game. Hero protagonist is dropping 2 land factories to start out before he goes air, probably to exploit those hover units. And then Bemble is getting a second air factory after his initial build.
It's likely that we are going to see some jesters from Bemble, which form a very good defense against Aurora that try to hover over the center water. And as long as he has air control, he should have the advantage in the early game because of how fast jesters can move.
Absolutely. Also bear in mind that if he does go the bomber route, the Aeon T1 units all die to 1 bomb from the Cybern bombers. So that's pretty much Aeon's biggest weakness, especially in the early game, is a lack of air control. So it's kind of interesting that Hero chose to go 3rd air factory. I probably would have gone down earlier than that.
If he's going to assist his 3rd air factory with engineer spam from the 2nd land factory, then this could also work out, and he can get a scale-based production lead rather than just the good timing on the air. And if he really outscales his opponent, then this is going to be this is going to have long-term effects on the game rather than just having a short-lived air control bonus, sort of.
Gotcha. No bomber early. Looks like we got an interceptor and then a scout followed by another interceptor for Bemble. So he is just going for air control in anticipation of a move from the other side. Both of these guys are expanding with their engineers, and I find it kind of funny that that Bemble has already queued a point defense at 3 minutes into the game. Might seem like a bad idea, but if the only units that are going to be able to cross the water are Auroras, then you're going to be able to absolutely waste any early game forces with that point defense there. So not exactly a bad idea, even though point defense sometimes aren't very useful.
I think it's very interesting how even though hero protagonist is Aeon, he still has strong incentives to build a land factory in the center of the map rather than just on the outside. The units can hover, but getting Artie and Mobilantier to the center is going to be important, and especially in the T3 stage, Aeon would be expected to have an advantage on such a map, but since Cybern bricks can actually cross the water while Harpies cannot, this typical T3 dynamic changes on this map.
Yeah, Bemble is picking up land factories in the middle, which is an excellent choice since that's the only way he's going to get Mantis over onto this side of the map. And Hero Protagonist is already pulling Auroras over into the center. Going to send those up to try to lock down the right side expansions, and another point defense is going down for Bemble as well. Map control looks like they're spreading out roughly equally. Red might have a little bit of an upper hand over on the right side. Not much of one, though. I like this bomber.
I think Hero Protagonist is prioritizing the outside a little more than Bemble, who is prioritizing the inside of the map.
Or defenseless engineer. He was headed for that manual reclaim, which might have helped Hero since he is a little bit behind in the mass game right now. It would appear that Bemble has a couple more mass extractors, but he'll do fine without it, I think. I think that's 4, at least 3 engineer kills for that bomber, so definitely a worthwhile investment. Got quite a bit of air going down, or not air, power generators for Bemble, so he may be planning something inventive a little bit later on. Hero Protagonist is keeping his base assembly much more tidy and using that adjacency to the maximum.
I think it's interesting to note how Bemble is actually assisting his air factory with I think, around 7 engineers. That is very high. He's more than doubling, almost like tripling the output. So Bemble should have early air control, unless he makes a micro mistake.
Yes. It takes 2 engineers to match the build power of a factory, right? No, 4. I'm sorry.
4, actually, yes.
Yeah, 20 build power versus 5. So, yes, that is triple plus 1 on the build power. That's also why he's investing in so much more power. He's 160 higher in his power investment than Hero Protagonist is. Hero just behind on pretty much all forms of economy at the moment. This is going to be a little bit interesting to see how he catches up. 3 interceptors versus 5, so probably going to see an air loss here. And then this Jester is going to be left with free reign over the right-hand side of the map. Unless, of course, Bemble makes a misstep. But it looks like he made up for it with the micro, picking off all 3 interceptors with only 2. So well done there.
Yeah, that's true. He didn't actually have good spread on his fighters. They were too far apart, so that Hero could get this defeat and detail advantage. But Micro, as you said, made up for it.
Auroras versus Mantis is probably one of my favorite T1 matchups because it is polar opposites coming together. Mantis are the fastest, most maneuverable T1 tank. And then Auroras are twitchy sons of guns with the slowest movement speed of the T1 tanks. So it's kind of an interesting little matchup, but it looks like the Auroras are going to hold the upper hand for the moment, if only because of their numbers. That Jester managed to get 5 kills before it got sacked, but it is down.
We are observing an interesting map control development in the center of the map. You can see how Bamble has his ACU on the right side and his units on the left side of the center, while Hero Protagonist has both the ACU and the units on the left side of the map. Hero effectively gives up the right side of the map, so Bamble is probably going to hold the middle, and that's going to give him a huge advantage.
Yes. I think the total mass count is probably similar for the outside ring and the center island, just eyeballing it. I'm not sure which would be
right. Yeah.
I'm not sure which would be more advantageous to hold. Which one would you rather have, the outside ring or the center?
If you manage to occupy the center, it will be very easy to defend, and you can also TML stuff on the outside from the inside. So I think having the inside is a lot better. The civilians add some interesting dynamic to the center. You don't want to get too close to them. That is sort of a downside of the center in the early game, but eventually the center is going to be better than the outside.
Okay. Hero Protagonist moving up just a little bit. He does have a forward land factory built on the inside island. So that's going to give him access to some of this T1 artillery we see coming out so that he can kill off these point defense that are kind of blocking his way. One advantage to having his ACU and the tanks on this side, he'll be able to easily handle all of the units coming down from all of those factories. On the other side, Bemble is going to have a little bit more difficulty. Your ACU is a powerful combat unit, but it is rather slow compared to the tanks, even Auroras. So he's only going to be able to control one small position, and the Auroras may be able to skirt that commander and go kill off the expansions. Aurora up on the top causing some mischief as well.
We are probably going to see a reaction soon. Yeah, there's already Jester moving up, so these Auroras on the outside are not as great, simply because of the map size. They took so long to get there, and now that they are there, they're already being killed.
Yes. those big maps, that's one of the problems with them and why raiding is so valuable, because even though that Aurora only killed off one mass extractor, there's no engineers nearby. The travel time is going to be around 2 minutes maybe to get an engineer all the way over there, and it just takes forever, and it makes a huge dent in the income if you're able to dink some of these off. 2 mass per tick times 2 minutes, it's several hundred mass. You're going to be in for a bit of a loss there.
This is a very good point, but probably no problem for Bamble since he already has a transport. He's probably going to expand with it.
Yes, I do see it, and it has already picked up engineers. This is a huge air movement for Bemble. He has got almost double the amount of interceptors, but the problem is he actually split his forces. So Hero Protagonist is going to be able to hit these on one turn, and then he's going to be able to move and address the other group later. So I think that was a serious mistake on Bemble's part, splitting up his air units. He may still win it, but it's going to be much closer.
In this air fight, Hero Protagonist was behind Bamble most of the time, so he could deal all the damage.
Yes.
And I think Hero is actually winning the bottom air fight.
It does look like he is. 2 Jesters up here are going to clean up these units and then move in. Bemble taking quite a bit of damage on his commander for the sake of killing off this T1 point defense. That's, what, 3,500 health that he just dismissed? But he is going to be able to take that expansion and kill off the forward land factory, so it's going to really secure the top side for him. Looks like this is going to put him past 50% map control.
Does Hero have T2 air by any chance?
No, he does not.
But I think he's going for it. I think he's going for it.
He just got a T2 air factory, and it looks like he's building his engineers to go for more power.
I think in this case it may actually matter that Bamble just lost some HP on the ACU, because Hero could attempt a snipe paired, like gunships paired with torpedo bombers.
That could be incredibly nasty. He's going to be fighting against superior air control, at least for the time being, but once he starts building some swift winds, or if he does make a T3 shift, he'll regain that very quickly. T2 land was the choice for Bemble. He decided to stay with the T1 air, and he is getting his engineers online as well, probably to build power generators and then move up the tech tree. Hero's still holding strong on the left-hand side. Bemble just knocking down point defense everywhere in an attempt to stop that commander.
I think that Bamble went T2 land, while Hero went T2 air, even though Bamble has more power than Hero, is quite an interesting dynamic. It could be the effect of the adjacency in Hero's base.
That is a very odd choice now that you mention it. Let's see how their ecos are actually doing here. We're plus 138-ish on Bemble's side, and minus 300 with this much build power on the T2P gen. So it's not a very accurate picture, but I think you have a really good point there, because he even had full adjacency on his other air factory as well.
I believe the reverse setup may have made more sense though. Hero did not have as much power as Bamble, and Bamble actually overflowing some power now.
Yes.
But he is going for T3 land, so that's how he's going to use it.
Well, typically that would be a sign of a Loyalist push if you're Cybern and you're pushing for a T3 land factory at 13 minutes, but Loyalist's not going to be as useful on this map since they can't cross the water unless he wants to ferry them one by one with that T1 transport across the gap, which honestly would work. But maybe he'll go for a brick and push that up the middle.
Yeah, I think bricks are the more straightforward choice and less micro-intense. I feel way more comfortable transporting Loyalists with T2 transports, but Bamble doesn't have these yet.
Yes. He is quite a ways away from any intervening air. It's not like he's trying to drop them on the other side of the map, so it might work out. And here is the answer to our question. He is actually going for a T3 support factory in the center, very heavily assisted, so he'll be able to push T3 units on the inside and the outside.
Bamble has a T3 engineer in his main base. I wonder if he's actually skipping T2 power entirely.
It's going to be interesting to see. He's got 1k power, but that's not a lot to get a T3 power generator unless you are getting a pile of reclaim. This Jester is awesome. 8 kills and finally dropped by the interceptors. It's kind of incredible that Jesters are still this useful at 14 minutes now into the game. Should have had Swift Winds out to kill those things by now.
The first one is just online, hitting the Jester on the right.
Yep, 2 passes and it'll knock it down. There's our first Loyalist as well, just in time to go up against some of these T1 units and maybe save that second Mass Extractor? We'll see. That's quite a few Auroras though.
Yeah, he's going to have to use some Micro to make these Loyalists survive.
Already down to half health on the one, but he should be okay. ACU crossing back to the center. Three Loyalists shouldn't be a problem. He'll get those.
Yeah, that's very expert Micro, actually. He's making sure the weak ones are always at the back and dodging, and the stronger one is at the front. This way, all of them can deal their full damage and get retrospect from this army.
You can also see how many Aurora shots are missing, just going into the hillside as the Loyalists sidestep them. That's one of the bad things about having longer range when you have slower projectile speed. It's kind of similar to the problem that Salem's or the Aeon Destroyers, it's escaping me at the moment what they're called, the Aeon Destroyers have. Exodus? Yeah. Yes, yeah. Exodus. Where they do have long range, and they're able to do an immense amount of damage because of that, but with that slower projectile speed, it makes them much easier to dodge.
It feels to me like, on average, Exodus Destroyers tend to hit more reliably than the Sovereign Destroyers.
I don't know. I've never really looked into that to a great degree. Bemble just lost air. That's a big deal. No more air raids for you.
So that's actually nice. We are going to see T3 land versus T2 air.
Oh look, he started to build a T3 power generator and he decided to build 2 more T2s instead. So 1k power was not enough.
That's his expensive lifestyle. But oh look, the Loyalists in the center are taking damage from the civilians.
Oh no! There's already 1 dead, and now 2, and now 3. That's a lot of mass to be losing there. Bemble needs to really pay attention to that, because that physically pains my soul.
It must have been the air fight and the power situation in his base that kept his attention.
Yeah. Still got all of that assistance on the T3 support factory, and T1 units still being useful this far in. They're going to go try to take this away, but since there's a couple of Jesters up there, I'm not sure that they'll be too successful.
About those Jesters, you can actually see how a huge part of this game comes down to attention. If the Jesters had been moved earlier, they could have killed the army without the army dealing any damage to the Mass Extractors.
It does take time to deal that damage, no matter how high the damage might be. I was a little bit enthralled with the life choices down here because that one T1 point defense did a very valiant job defending against 5 Loyalists thanks to some wall sections. Walls are definitively OP.
I believe that the average mass efficiency of point defenses, T1 point defenses, actually gets higher the longer the game takes, because most people don't mix T1 army also for speed reasons with their T3 armies, and that's how a point defense can actually deal a lot of mass damage, if you wish.
That's actually very interesting. I'd never thought of it that way, but you make a very good point. I'm curious to see whether all of this production will get scaled up. He did go to a T2 support factory there to get some flak out. Excellent choice if you just lost air, by the way. Ooh. Oh, you remember that snipe attempt you talked about earlier?
Yeah, it came late, but it's happening now.
Thankfully, he's close to the water, so I don't think it'll be that big of a deal, but man, that's that timing, though. 4,000 HP, but he is nearly in the water. Oh, water not deep enough.
Yeah.
Oh, 1,700 HP. Thankfully, that little glitch is coming into play where sometimes air units are not able to target land units with their head sticking out of the water because they register as a naval unit instead. But he is still taking some damage to the top spikes. That might actually be ground fire.
Yeah, that is a ground fire attempt.
Yep. Still got his head out of the water. Not exactly how you want to be in your hidey hole.
And so he's killing the T1 anti-air that was in this expansion, and I believe he's going to bring some torpedo bombers.
Okay, let's check the build queue. Swift winds, and it looks like...
skimmer is being produced.
Yes, torpedo bombers. So he does have that blip on his radar, but he's still not able to target it because of that sonar bug. Look at all the mass Hero is overflowing. He is overflowing 35 out of 55 at the moment. He's got all of his land factories paused. I wonder if he thought he had it won and deprioritized some things.
That's possible, but he certainly went overboard.
Yeah, for sure.
So Bamble is realizing this sniper tent is still ongoing. He's getting this T2 upgrade to add HP to his commander. He's bringing T1 flag from the factory at the bottom, and he's bringing T2 flag from the factory on the left. But at the same time, Bamble is still raiding with loyalists at the bottom.
Yes, the gunships have moved on to greener pastures, hitting some other things on that side. One thing to note as well, though, oh, he did get himself completely below the water. Good job. The attack angles on this are not very good. You have to line up your torpedo bomber quite well to actually get the torps to hit. And it doesn't look like Hero is doing that. He's just kind of flying them in randomly.
Some hover micro to actually turn this torpedo bomber would be great. Like, he wants to come from the right side or from the top, because the anti-air is bottom, and there's also this hill absorbing some torpedoes.
Right there. No damage done.
Exactly.
And there again.
It's going to connect at the next pass, but that's not going to be enough. I think the damage of a torpedo bomb is 800, so Bamble is going to survive another 2.
Yes. It looks like only one of the torps out of the 2 connected with that one. So, interesting thing here. I just thought about this. The Mercy has quite a bit of area of effect. He could have brought in a single Mercy and ground fired it on the blip and killed that commander, because there was no anti-air there for quite some time.
I think it would have failed, actually, because like, he would have had to go from the right side, and there's a gunship. I learned very painfully a few days ago that gunships kill Mercies.
Really?
Yes, they do.
I did not know that. So there is a Mercy technically classified as a gunship, or is that just like a weird one-off thing?
I don't know. Maybe a Mercy is has the same status as a transport, because I know that gunships can shoot at transports, so perhaps it's the same thing. It may have to do with flying altitude and the orientation of the weapon of the gunship that usually points down.
That's pretty cool. Okay, useful piece of information. I'll file that one away. T2 shield went up for Bamble, and he's actually assisting an upgrade on it so that he can increase the bubble size to enclose his commander. And then I'm sure he'll probably just sit tight there for the time being.
Look at map control, though.
Yeah, it has tipped heavily in Blue's favor.
Yeah, he has so much more. He can just assert the map control advantage by upgrading lots of mass extractors.
T2's over there. T2 and capped in his base, and he is spreading out to capture the ones once again that he's lost. Is also picking off the last few that Hero has in the center with the Loyalists, and he does have T3 air online.
Yeah, the first ASF.
Yep,
that
T3
is
air
kind
move.
of unexpected, but he does have T3 power, so he can afford it.
Yep, only T2 power on this side, and still producing Swift Winds on a relatively low power budget. 4.2 versus 1.3k, and Bamble is far, far ahead in economy.
I think the painful part of this game for Hero Protagonist is about to start, because
Still stalling, though.
He did try to exploit the strong T2 air for Aeon, but it just failed, as you could see, and now Bamble has the T3 air online, and any advantage Aeon had against Siren is gone for now. So perhaps the next strong weapon the Aeon player is going to have would be the GC, but it's going to take a while till then, and until then it may be survival.
Well, till then, he's got GC beta version .08. He's got the shield and double gun upgrade on his commander, so he's going to be able to overcharge most of these units from range, and he's got a fair amount of health. If the Loyalists,
gotta be careful, though.
Yeah, if the Loyalists swarm him,
he can stun the ACU, and the bricks will deal damage over the distance.
Looks like that's exactly what he's going for.
It could work.
There's the stun, and already just about completely stripped away the shield HP.
Now he's deciding to fall back.
That was a
may
little
have
bit of
been
an
a
odd
mistake, I don't
choice.
know. Like, just committing to this attack would probably get hero protagonist down to around 3000 HP, and then a Strat Bomber could finish him off with ground fire.
Which he might have the power for in just a minute. The eternal power problem. For those of you who watch any of us play on a regular basis, even 1500 ranks do it too, so it's a common mistake.
Well, low power builds are just beautiful, and especially in team games, you always have teammates you can rely on, so there are strong incentives for not
Snicker, snicker.
overbuilding power.
Snicker, snicker. I can always remember games where, like for instance, a Setton's game or something, where that one person overbuilt power and everybody else just forgets to build power generators, and that one person gets sniped. And then lo and behold, everyone else is minus 3000 on power once that person dies. And then very, very bad things happen. Harbinger's out for hero protagonist. He is actually going to take away the expansion points on the top right and try to move those over towards the base. Now I'm curious, Bemble does not have radar, and he's seeing these mass points disappear, but he's not actually gone out of his way to scout or look at anything over there.
Maybe he's still reacting, we don't know that yet. I'd love to see a T3 gunship on those Harbies.
See if we can see any move orders shifting, try to see where his attention is at. It looks like he's basically just base tending right now. So not really paying much attention to what's going on otherwise. I want to start singing the Jaws theme, because this is about to get really nasty. There are no combat units in this section. There's no bricks close enough to jump across the water. He's building another T3 power generator, and there's just nothing to respond to this threat.
They have been scouted just now. Look, he's making
Yes.
T2 gunships now. That's a good choice, because T2 gunships have a significantly lower build time than T3 gunships. So when
They
they're
also
that
have
close,
more
you wanna
damage
go
per
for
mass,
these.
don't they?
Sorry?
They also have more damage per mass than the T3, don't they? Just lower HP per mass.
Yeah, maybe. That's possible. I have never thought about it.
If you go and do the mass comparisons on most of the tech, the general running theme, there are exceptions, but generally the theme is the lower tier units have more damage, less HP per mass, and then the higher tier units have more range, more HP per mass, but less damage. So their survivability goes up, and then you're able to bring more units to bear on a target because of their increased range. So that's where your advantage lies in tech. Pretty much across the board, if you put a T1 unit versus a T3 on a mass-to-mass basis, just on a 1-to-1 ratio, then the T1 units will win because of the higher damage.
Very devastating power generator kill right here.
Yes.
He didn't see any replay mortar trying to contain the explosive damage of the power generator. So this killed all the engineers too.
He might get the air HQ as well. And the air...
I think he's getting that.
This is getting more and more brutal by the second.
Yeah, mistakes are being made now. Bamble freaking out and reacting with his ASFs to this cloud of T1 and T2 air. So these are going to die as well.
He's going to
Maybe
lose
the
air
chance
control and his main base.
Yeah, hero protagonist can enter T3 air game now.
No HQ. He might even get the T3 land HQ, but it looks like he does know that the ACU is approaching, so he's going to run away and try to get out of overcharge range.
Yeah, I think he's going for the power generator, which is good. Just don't want to be that close to it.
Yeah, I definitely would have run past, so I didn't lose my Harbingers in the power generator explosion. That's not the brightest move. And there they go.
Oh, too bad. But look at Hero's base.
Oh no!
Maybe this is some late game base raider sort of
I think this
situation.
might be what some people call karma. Oh, Bemble is down to triple digits on the power. He's down to 780. Looks like these bricks are going to be able to claim... Well, I thought they were going to kill the T3 land HQ, but oh, that was a good overcharge. 2 bricks on that, and a third killed.
Can we go to hero protagonist's eco? Maybe he only has one overcharge, like one power charge. And the bricks are in range to kill it. Yeah, that's a missed opportunity perhaps.
Yes.
This one.
Gonna get another overcharge off, so that's gonna kill another. He's got a brick killing off his only center expansion as well. So this is just going to further secure Bemble's map control.
Yeah, that's brutal. Like, holding the center is a lot easier once you have most of it. And I believe hero protagonist can actually try to get back the center unless he makes AGC or something of that scale.
I think we have a new contender for hero brick. This brick single-handedly knocked out 2 T2 power generators, and nope, he's going to get overcharged. I was about to say, if he moved forward, he might get a third.
But hero protagonist actually lost 50% of his power income to this single brick. He's
Down to
going
1k.
He's going for T3 power now, right away, but he cancelled, realized it was too expensive.
Gonna go back and
moving over
rebuild
to
the T2s.
power.
So here's a neat trick. This T3 power generator has been rebuilt, but the reasoning for this is that if you reclaim wreckage, you cannot get power back from that, only mass. However, when you reclaim a partially built structure, you get the mass and power income back out of that, which is why it's good if you're overflowing mass or power and you need to save that for a larger project you aren't ready for, you can start building something like an experimental and then reclaim it later to get almost 100% of your eco back, like eco storage. So what Bemble did is he did not have enough power to actually get back on his feet with a T3 power generator, but he used the reclaim from that partially built one and his sole surviving T2 power to build this power generator.
Yeah, that's a choice many people don't realize they have. They can either get back 81% of the mass of the structure, or they can get 50% of the mass and 50% of the power back, and that may be the most efficient way in the game to rebuild power after you've lost a lot.
This was a missed opportunity, though. Those Harveys, there shouldn't be an overcharge for Bemble. Oh, no, he does have overcharge. Okay.
He just built it right next to the power generator.
Those Harveys probably could have killed the T3 power again.
Yeah.
That would have been devastating.
Or at least the engineers building the overcharge. And then the power.
Brick on this side doing a pretty good job of knocking down some of those expansions. And blue still has a decisive hold on the map, but red has definitely made a little progress whittling down that economy on the other side.
I think with the T2 transport and air control, red has the advantage that he can choose where he wants to fight, and perhaps dropping these harps in the transport on the bottom left onto this air factory that was newly constructed in the center would be great. I'm not sure if he's got intel over it though.
It looks like that drop is headed over to the main base though, so he's going to continue harassing on this side. Interceptors are going to come out in an attempt to stop it, and it all depends on how they turn. That was a good turn to get behind the transport, but no follow through. That transport's going to live.
Not sure if it was actually locked. I don't even know how Bamble found out about the transport. I don't remember Hero flying over anything Bamble controlled. Maybe it was
I
the
think
radar
there's a radar right here, and he saw the
okay.
Harbingers get picked up.
Very good point.
Cerberus turrets down in the base though, which are going to slowly whittle away at that Harbinger.
They are going to them.
Yeah, they are going to get 2 of the mass extractors though. Not a good day for Bemble's economy. Or either player's economy for that matter.
The T3 power generator is still not up. Kind of surprising, but Hero decided to shield his power generators to make sure that his power doesn't get sniped again.
Excellent choice. I cannot fault him for that one. Severely damaged Harbinger versus Brick. Brick still wins it. And 600 HP remaining, so this Harbinger should be able to nab that one. T2 gunship exploring a little bit on this side, but it's going to run into anti-air. Probably going to go down. Especially if he chooses to fly back over. Weird choice on that one. need to get T3 air back online, which it does look like that is scheduled. Bemble is going to go for T3 P-Gens in the middle, though, where he has a little bit more control over what's happening. He has
this engineer management around the T2 Air Factory is kind of a Yuri stream level pathfinding, though. It's probably going to take him 30 seconds until this power generator is even started. Hate it when engineers get in the way, and it's so difficult to get them out of
At this point, it would be better to cancel this and take one of these engineers and build that one.
Yeah, that's right.
T1 engineers can be a massive pain in the butt. They are lovely for building things, but they sure do get in the way. So an interesting little thing you can do if you're worried about extensive pathfinding problems in a tight packed base situation, if you assist all of the engineers to one that has the build queue, you can then control shift right click a building after it has started, and the primary engineer will stop constructing it and move to the next building, but all of the assisting engineers will stay and finish the construction. And what that does is, since you've already queued the next building to start, all of these engineers shuffle in order to clear the path while they're still building, and then you're able to start the T3P gen much more quickly.
Very handy tip, actually. Many beginners do not pay attention to these sort of things, even though they're actually very important. I've seen air builds delayed by an entire minute simply because of the placement of the T2 power generator. It was inconveniently chosen inside a cloud of engineers.
So another thing that kind of branches off of that, a lot of players do use that trick, and if you are the savvy sniper, if you can figure out which engineer has the build queue and kill it, you can really mess up those plans.
Oh god, yes. Don't get me started on that.
I have had that happen to me so many times. It can be quite painful. Alright, so looks like Blue has resecured the center, so all of it is under his control. Harby is still on the top and the bottom moving around, and we do have a nice little mixed force, but Cerberus turrets and a brick, I don't think this is going to go anywhere.
Look at the mass balance of the two players. It's interesting how they almost have the same eco, even though Hero Protagonist is shot down to effectively 10% map control, while Bamble controls a lot more, maybe around 50% of the map actually.
Pretty sure that's thanks to a couple of T3 mass extractors.
Yeah, the effect of ecoing, very notable here.
I think I would rather be the person in control of the map than the person with the eco and 10% though, if it were me.
That's true. As the player controlling most of the map, the only thing you gotta pay attention to is that you don't commit to any deals in which you donate more mass than you kill, and you don't want to let your opponent eco up from a small portion of map control.
Nice little radar snipe there. And then he's going to go after the eco.
There is a backup T2 radar in the center. That's nice to see.
Oh yeah, right there.
I wonder what the range on this one is. The map is quite large.
T2 radar range? Oh, that's sad. Really need that Omni. Or consistent scouting, one or the other. Oh, look at that. T3 mobile artillery moving around the outside edge. Something that I had not thought about. You can actually kill... Yeah, you can kill the vast majority of the map with a T3 artillery. Because it can reach across the water and hit these main expansion points.
That's very out-of-the-box gameplay, in my opinion. It's rare to see T3 mobile Aeon already being used. For some reason, it's quite unpopular, but it's nice to see that he thought about this opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Aeon Artillery does deserve to get used more because it is extremely accurate. It's probably because it is a little bit lower impact on mobile units, though. It has the lowest area of effect, so it's a little bit harder to deal that damage, soften up the targets that are coming towards your base. Whereas things like the Trebuchet and Demolisher can damage 3, 4, 5 units at a time, and it really exponentially increases the amount of damage that artillery is effectively doing. Aeon T3 artillery, though, it does have the mechanic where damage is dealt over time. So if you're trying to wreck a base, it is able to do that extremely well because a shell can not only break the shield, but damage targets underneath it.
I believe it also has fairly good potential to counter the T3 mobile arty of other factions, since this is the only arty that can shoot while moving.
Yes.
But it's not the kind of arty you want to build when the opponent has lots of T1 units and you want to hit multiple at the same time.
This looks like a slight problem. Your protagonist has got
another.
6 Harbingers in the base again. And I think we're about to see the end of this T3 power generator. I think there could have been a kill there.
Now it would be good to see the ACU being focused, yeah. Wait, did he reclaim those 2 harps with the ACU? They died so fast, but it couldn't have been overcharge. No, it was overcharge.
It was overcharge, yes.
Oh, it's a +2 speed, that's why. I was wondering why this could re-trigger so quickly.
He is going to kill off 3 mass extractors once again. 2 of them were T3. So Bemble is going to lose out on economy again. Finally falling behind hero protagonist 95 to 100, and that T3 power generator got knocked out. This is
quite
just
a balanced game.
Yeah, it's just repeated demolition of power plants. A little attack launcher. Looks like it might have hit a few of these already, but no other primary targets. Got 4 missiles loaded, 5, so he should be able to unleash a volley anytime he chooses.
Are the 2 mexes in range at the bottom of the civilians?
Let's find out. There's your range.
Oh, one is.
All of this.
The stuff down there is shielded, I think, but the 2 mexes up top are not. These would be good targets, but I think the second one is actually out of range.
Yes. It is a Cybern shield though, so that's not necessarily good protection.
It's also an Aeon TML. I think this is the TML with the slowest fire cycle.
Yes.
So it may not be able to overwhelm the Cybern shield that tends to refill its entire HP rather quickly. I think ED2 is actually the fastest refilling stationary shield in the game.
Also consider that the Aeon TML is the slowest traveling, so there's going to be time to build TMD over there once you realize the missiles are coming in.
Yeah, that's true. That's like the only thing I dislike about the Aeon TML. Instead of just hitting the target it's supposed to hit, it's wasting time flying spastic curves.
Hero is taking a lot of damage here. Harbinger's not able to cross the water to assist. He's now lost his entire shield, and it looks like he's having trouble. No, he's just not overcharging. He has the power. He's just not doing it. Very strange there. 7k HP remaining, and now he's got bricks in the base. Don't tell me. This is going to end up being another base demolition. 2 bricks in the base next to the power generators. Not what you want to have happening.
This T3 already has to run away.
Interesting thing of note, the bricks are actually capable of firing from one side of the river to the other. The Harbingers are not, or just barely. Bricks focused on the power generator. 2 alive still. They will be able to get that one down, I think. They have enough damage. Oh, no, no, no. It's going to be close. Oh, 2,000 health remaining. More bricks in line, though, so it might not all be over. Airwind on the north side, very strong for Hero, and he's killing off all of these gunships that Bemble was hoping to use to kill things with. Maybe that Galactic Colossus will be of a little bit more use.
Sad to see Bamble's air a bit out of position at the bottom left side of the map.
Just a bit.
Fighting at the top.
That was actually quite a fast shield recharge. I was not expecting it to come back online that quickly. Heroes got it up, and he was able to dispatch another brick with an overcharge, but the group of 5 is going to move around the back and kill off this eco that he has worked so hard to upgrade and protect. He does have quite a bit of reclaim in his base, though, especially since there's now some bricks that have been dropped. Why is my control shift not working on the wreckages here? That's very weird. Only on original reclaim. Is that a known bug?
It may be related. Did you change the UI skin at the start of the game?
I did.
Okay, that's the cause.
That might be it then. Okay. Brick's going to be able to easily destroy all of those Harbingers due to superior range. The only thing that can knock a Brick back on its back end is a Percival. And since there are no Percivals in the Aeon Tech catalog, suppose that this is going to be a little bit of a problem. Hero might be able to deal with it. Yeah. Might be able to deal with it with a commander, though.
Yeah.
One overcharge, and... Where's the other one? There it is. Second overcharge. That's a lot of T3 engineers for not very much economy. Did he have them left over from before, or has he been building them for some time? Oh! That could be problematic.
He's probably been building them and just didn't cancel the queue, because the game is actually quite interactive. The map is quite messy, with a lot of things going on, and we've seen the base being destroyed multiple times, so it's only natural that your rebuilding may be a little jumpy. Rebuilding too much power, too much mass, or too many engineers, instead of keeping everything balanced.
Strat bombers erasing those Harbingers from existence.
Does Hero have a lock on them?
No, he doesn't, and they're stealthed. So he missed it on the radar, and he wasn't able to target them down. So those Strat bombers are going to get away scot-free, even though Hero has the air superiority. There is a third Strat bomber on the south side as well. Both of these power generators are at critical health, but Hero is speed building another one under the shield in order to try to prevent a loss there. Strat bomber number 4 incoming. Oh.
Both. That's some try-hard ground fire.
Ground fired right in between the two, not only taking out the power generators, but a mech.
Please, the engineers. Come on, man, you can do it.
Yes! Got all of them.
Wait, did I just root for a cyber player?
And the shield generator. Oh, you traitor. You've come over to the dark side.
That's because it never happened.
He lost the shield gen, and he's rebuilding a power generator before more shielding. Here comes 2 Strat bombers. This is about to be a really, really bad time for Hero.
But you see, it is moving in, though. Bamble has seen it. He's actually told Hero in the chat about it. I think the only way Hero can make use of this GC properly is by quickly constructing some T2 and T3 mobile anti-air and transporting it to the center.
Oh no!
It's
gonna make it! Oh! 60 power for Hero protagonist. He was... Hold on, we gotta look at this. We gotta look at this. No, it got knocked down to 16%. That was like 92% complete, and he sniped off the other generator. The agony. So how many full power snipes is that? That is the 3rd full power snipe this game.
Ridiculous.
I think we might be about to see the 4th. There's no rebuilt T3 power over here. 100% of Bemble's power is in this base.
Bamble had his air out of position again. He should have... no, sorry. Hero protagonist had his air out of position this time.
Got shredded by the flak there.
Well, both to some extent. Like, Hero protagonist sniped the gunships. Bamble could have reacted sooner or done some proactive.
Oh no! So now
Bamble down to 400 power.
We have 400. No, 400 versus 60 power income.
Yeah, that's like your average minute 15 eco.
Wow.
Bamble actually rebuilding the top Hydra, I believe. That's how bad things are. Oh,
this is insane. GC went down, was able to kill off quite a few T3 engineers, but the advantage here is Bamble at least has T3 tech. Hero has one lonely T3 engineer way far away from the base. If I were him, I would be coming back here to use the same trick that Bamble did. Build this, reclaim it, and just speed build the last few % on that power generator.
Do you think that Hero protagonist has intel on Bamble's ACU? Perhaps the Harps could have attacked it. knowing that Bamble does not have any power for overcharge.
Harbs don't have shields. That's not a good sign. They're gonna die very easily.
Unstealth Siren strats killing unshielded harps.
You know it's a pro level game. Is more of the HP in the shield or in the HP on Harbinger?
In the HP, I believe. The shield should be around 2000 if I'm not mistaken.
So
maybe a little less even.
Okay.
The main
like
benefit of the shield
70-30
is
split.
The main benefit of the shield is that it recharges relatively quickly, so if the Harp is about to die, you basically get this free heal that is not veterancy based if you keep alive for long enough.
Wait, bricks can walk through walls?
I think there's some spacing in between the walls. It's
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's some interesting placement from the map maker, but they are spaced, it seems. Just a little bit for units to pass through. Good to know, actually. I never thought about it.
Lost a brick due to the triads in the center. I think he just placed a move order and totally forgot the civilians were there. Well, the map got awfully quiet all of a sudden.
Understandable, given the situation.
Finally got the T3 power back up, so Hero is up to 2.7k and Bemble is on 1.1k. He's speed building T2 power generators down here before he restarts his T3 power build. And he's also building T3 power on the north side, way far away from everything else, probably in hopes that he won't get sniped out again.
The first hidden power generator we see this game.
We effed each other so much this game. I believe that is a very accurate statement indeed.
Yeah, true. You rarely see games as interactive and as balanced as this one. Usually it's either interactive or balanced, but having both is truly special.
This is the embodiment of the phrase tit for tat. Every single time one player has knocked out the other's base, there has been a counterattack within 3 minutes that has done the same.
But I do believe that the GC Mastination has been a lethal mistake, because both players had lost all of their power, Bamble recovered from it faster, and Bamble now has the mass to do anything he wants.
He's already 4,000 mass ahead in Reclaim to begin with, and now he's biting into the GC. So the question is, what is he going to do with that mass?
I'd go for a Soul Ripper, I believe.
Really?
He's got
Yeah,
air
I guess
control
so.
secured. The only thing Hero can hope to defend is the very core of his base, but the Soul Ripper is going to inflict so much map control presence that Hero won't be able to rebuild at all. And with the mass Hero has right now, I don't think he can compete against someone who has the entire map.
No, their ecos are pretty well on even footing, minus this. He does have a few ASF left. Oh, more bricks on the south side. Hello.
Denying reclaiming engineers.
Yeah, smart move on that. We can
But
see
Hero is very careful to keep up intel and make sure he doesn't get caught off guard. That's good to see.
he does have the P-gens on the north side scouted, so that's good. Probably going to go in for another overcharge with the ACU down there. Hero is sitting at 45,000 reclaim and actually overflowing 74 of that, maybe due to lack of build power, I'm not sure, or targeting priorities. 67k. So Bemble jumped up 20,000 into the lead on reclaim, just like that. Yeah, I think Hero Protagonist just lacks the advanced tech for build power. He started another GC over here, so now he's not going to be overflowing as much, but he just wasn't able to build things. Oh my. So that's a development.
Hidden nuke.
I mean, not completely hidden, because there was a scout up there. Oh, it is scouted.
It is actually scouted, wow. I did not expect that.
Okay then. Not doing anything about it. So either he has resigned himself to his doom, or he has not paid attention to what is going on up there in the top.
I believe he has scouted it, but not registered it was actually there, because you would see a different reaction if he's actually taken it into account. He'd probably, like, at this point it's too late to construct anti-nuke, so the best move is spread out the base and make sure that the nuke can only kill a portion of his setup and not everything.
Namely power generators. Power generators. Oh, look. Well, I guess it's not totally centralized because there's 2 up there, but I find it funny that he's rebuilt all 3 of those adjacent again. You would think that he had learned. Second GC is going to wipe out the bricks that we're advancing on the base over here. Probably going to be able to take this entire expansion on this side. And we do have Harbingers moving around to the left again. Not enough air online for Hero to actually challenge, but it is getting closer. At least he is producing air. He's got 4 T3 power generators already.
I think this time Hero can't expect to get away with taking out the power in the center base again with the GC like last time, because now the situation looks different. Bamble has air control, unlike last time, and there's also power outside that place.
Yes.
So I think the nuke, if it's going to work and not countered by some cheesy air block, is actually going to outspeed the GCs.
This is 75% loaded or a little bit better, so it should be launching any second. Yep, GC gonna knock out that expansion, putting a dent in that eco that has plagued Hero protagonists for so long. I'm amazed that this base made it this long. It's really quite impressive.
He's been extremely careful defending it with radars.
What?
Oh, the nuke launch, yeah.
It wasn't a secret nuke. He had it scouted. You're right. He just didn't register it. Incoming! Kaboom. Yeah. That is what we like to call a devastating hit. 2 power generators left alive, thank goodness, but yeah, I think that's the end of it.
Yeah, not going to recover from this one. Look at this amount of T2 gunships, god.
He made another GC.
and he's trying to suicide.
Trying to ground fire himself. He's got mobile flak out and SAMs, which is going to do horrible, horrible things to T2 gunships. So he is going to survive. But for what? All has been lost. There is nothing but blue on the map. He's trying to commit honorable seppuku. Unfortunately, the GC has no area of effect, so I don't think that's going to work.
I think Hero is seeing it as a sign of fate that he's unable to kill himself, and now he's actually fighting back again, building anti-air with his engineers.
Those bricks that strung in were able to kill off all of the mobile flak, though, so that GC is going to be of limited use, considering that, yep, there he goes. Down to the bricks.
Did he try to team kill himself with the harps?
He tried, but it wasn't working. That is quite the game. I don't think I have ever seen that much base destruction at once before.
These players really spend most of the time recovering from the full destruction of their own base.
Alrighty guys, that is going to wrap up this cast. Thank you very much, Heaven, for tagging along on this one. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, Brink. It was so much fun.
As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. That is going to wrap everything up for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, feel free to drop a like and share it with someone. If you want to support the channel, catch the streams, or join the Discord, check out the links in the description. Thank you all for being at least partially insane, and I will see you in the next one.